All right, let's jump right in. What if I told you that rainbows aren't what you think they are? What if they were actually signatures of a hidden technology that powers our entire world? Today, we're unpacking the worldview of a group called APM Research, and that's exactly what they claim. Now, just so we're clear, everything we're about to cover comes directly from their own research and documents. We're just laying it all out to understand a reality that challenges, well, pretty much everything.
Okay, so this quote right here, this is the key. This is the starting point for their entire worldview. They take something we all know, something we see all the time, a rainbow, and they completely flip it on its head. They say it's not just some light bouncing off raindrops, but the visible signature of a massive hidden piece of tech. So, you're probably wondering, how in the world do you get from a rainbow to a whole new reality? Well, they lay it out in 5 key parts. We're going to start with the rainbow itself, then dive into what they call angels, halos, and plasma. After that, we'll look at their map of the true Earth, decode some sacred sites, and finally, put it all together to ask, is our world a construct?
All right, first up, beyond the rainbow's arch. We're always taught that a rainbow is just an optical illusion, right? It all depends on where you're standing. But APM research says, nope, that's wrong. They believe it's a real physical thing. And get this, every single rainbow is a perfect circle. That's clue number 1.
So they're saying a rainbow isn't just a trick of perspective, it's a real thing in a real place. Think about it like this. When you use a garden hose to make a little rainbow on your lawn, you're not actually creating it. According to this theory, you're just making a tiny part of a much, much bigger invisible energy field visible. A field you're standing right inside of. Okay, so if it's not just light, what is it? What's actually making the rainbow? And that question brings us right to the heart of their theory, the engine that they believe powers our entire world. And it's supposedly right under our feet. The first piece of the puzzle is the word angels. But you gotta throw out everything you think you know about that word. We're not talking about celestial beings with wings. In their model, angels are actual physical machines. Think of them as the weather machines of the world. They're the tech that controls rain, wind, you name it. And they're located in what APM calls the underworld, basically right below us. So, how do these angel machines work? Well, they use something called halos. And again, not the rings of light you're picturing, nope. We're talking about 2 electromagnetic coils. There's a smaller one they call male and a larger one they call female. And they're designed to spin in opposite directions. And this is how they say it all comes together. You've got the male and female halos spinning against each other. This creates a really powerful electromagnetic field. That field then generates a big sphere of plasma. And the rainbow? That's just the edge of that plasma sphere becoming visible. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. They argue that this tech isn't some new discovery. It's been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years, encoded in ancient symbols. For example, when you put that smaller male halo over the larger female one, what shape do you get? They say it's a perfect match for the ancient Egyptian scarab beetle. Okay, let's follow this train of thought. If our world is really run by this huge network of hidden machines, then what does that mean for our maps? I mean, are our maps of the world even right? Well, according to APM research, not even close. So forget the globe. And they say you can also throw out the common flat Earth map, the one you see on the left there. They argue both of those models just don't work with what we can actually observe. Instead, they put forward this map on the right, the UTM Transverse Mercator. They claim this is the real map of our world, just rolled out flat. But why this map? What's so special about it? Well, they say it solves a really big problem that other maps can't. Think about this. People in Australia, South America, and South Africa can all look south and see the same stars. On a globe, that just doesn't make sense. But on this map, it works perfectly because they're all looking towards the same southern center point. And on top of that, they claim this map lines up exactly with the grid system they decoded from the Nazca lines down in Peru. And once you accept this map, a lot of other things start to change, including our history. The theory goes that World War II, it wasn't about what we're told in the history books. It was actually a fight to control the east and west perimeters, the edges of this map. And to keep us from figuring this out, they claim that all flight data, all shipping logs, everything is digitally manipulated, or flipped, to make it look like we're traveling around the globe. Okay, so we've got a new map and a hidden network of machines. But where's the proof? Where is the stuff? According to the source material, the evidence is literally all around us. And our ancestors, they knew all about it. and left us clues. So what are these clues? Well, first, they say to look at ancient sacred sites. All those star forts, old castles, and massive cathedrals, they weren't built in random places. They were built directly on top of these angel units. But it's not just buildings. They say to look at nature, too. Ever notice how wind seems to rush towards one central spot? Or how a rainstorm can have a perfectly straight edge? They see those as signs. Even a tornado, to them, that's just the visible vortex of one of these halos spinning up. So let's bring this all together. We have rainbows as signatures, hidden machines as engines, and a completely new map of the world. All of these pieces are building up to one huge final conclusion. And it's not just about weather or maps anymore. We're talking about the very nature of reality itself. One of the absolute cornerstones of this whole worldview is the idea of a cycle. They claim our world runs on a strict 400-year cycle. And at the end of every cycle, there's a massive catastrophic event they call a reset. And this isn't just a physical reset. They say it literally wipes the memories of whoever survives. So what does this all mean? Well, here it is. Their ultimate claim is that we are living inside a technological construct. And if that's true, then our history books, they aren't real. They're just a story, completely rewritten after every one of those 400-year resets. A story designed for one purpose, to keep us from ever knowing the truth about where we really are. You see, in the end, this goes way beyond just physics and maps. It's really a reimagining of spirituality. They put it this way themselves. There is a creator, and their glory is technology. So for them, what we think of as the natural world is anything but. It's actually the incredible, masterful engineering of a creator. So their whole thing is to encourage you to look at the world with fresh eyes, through this new lens, and just see what you think. We've just laid out their theory, based on their own documents. So the question for you is, the next time you look at a rainbow, what are you going to see? Just a trick of the light, or the signature of something else?